In a world where production numbers reign supreme, one man on a mission. Verbal garbage.
What's up, everybody? Another episode of Verbal Garbage coming at you steaming hot and absolutely live. Got a lot in my life, in my world to cover, and I know a lot is subjective, but to me, action-packed, fun week. One little juicy interaction I can think of right away is, I'm doing my thing, driving around, selling the tools, doing the Lord's work, packing my own lunch every day, saving the money, just being that guy. Just to give you an idea, the sandwich, kind of still on the same path. Haven't gotten sick of it quite yet. We're doing the Boars Head buffalo chicken, doing the Boars Head white American cheese, both sliced absolutely thin. Got the mayo, got the hot sauce, the Frank's Red Hot. We got the lettuce chopped up nice and good. We use the Marty buns, the potato buns, and come out with some yogurt, some granola bars, some little trinkets, little treats. We're ready to go. We're ready to roll. Instead of having to stop at a gas station, eat some of that gas meat and whatever else these people are eating on the road, I'll stop, for a little Aussie grill. But you're driving that big ass truck, you can't just pull into these little fast food spots you're used to going to, right? So, anyways, the lunch didn't have to do anything with the story, but I'm going around. I'm going to one of the trashiest establishments and roads and ever been known to man. Fowler Street. Sorry. But gentleman there, new guy, never met him before. He comes on the truck right away. He's just trying to project this super alpha dominant energy. And okay, this is what we want. Caesar Milan would say, you start seeing an aggressive dog. I said, this is what we want. And I'll give him a little neck shot. Sir, calm down. Sir, quiet. What's the So he's coming on. He's acting all aggressive and trying to prove himself and just trying to talk nice. What do you need? What are you looking for? Blah, blah, blah. He gets his whole thing. Long story short, he gets a bunch of stuff and, oh man, I forgot my fucking wallet. I think somebody stole it. I'm like, oh, here we go. And just being the good guy I am, I'm getting ready to let him give him my phone number and tell him, hey man, tomorrow. Okay, we're skipping ahead. Fuck. A couple other guys come on the truck and we're just talking, and I'm pretty cool with one of the guys, and he's been showing an interest in jiu-jitsu, so we start talking about that right away. And the big tatted gorilla meat sword was just like, fucking what? Jiu-jitsu? I got a 45 ACP. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, then you go to jail. Yeah, well, I raised 4 fucking boys. Going to jail will be a treat at this point. I was like, okay, well, we certainly have a different outlook on life, sir. And he just kind of gave it a little chuckle. And yeah, just funny, when you're talking about just an exercise, a hobby, a sport, all of the above, and someone just right away retorts like 45. Like, I'm not talking about killing someone or shooting someone or fighting someone or apprehending. I'm literally just talking about going to a gym and hanging out with friends and doing it. And this guy's talking 45 ACP. So it's all the aggressive grease monkeys out there. Just watch the way you talk. You give us law-abiding citizens who choose to practice our Second Amendment, right? And give us a bad name. Yeah, no, I don't shoot as much as some of the other gun-toting animals out there, but I know the gun safety. I know the basics, and yeah, I'm not a tactical shooter by any means, but I plan on learning, getting into that. I'm just trying to get into as many hobbies and activities as I can. Just keep picking up new things as I go, and fishing and bow hunting are the 2 next things I'm really trying to start getting into, and golfing, gonna be going next weekend. 2 of my buddies from jiu-jitsu, and I just think it's, like I said, it's not even so much about being good at golf, but it's just being able to go out, hang out with friends, and have a fun time talking shit on the golf course. And speaking of talking shit, we got fantasy football season right around the corner, baby. I know my league, since I've been in since like, I think it's on record of like 2014, but we've probably been doing it since probably 3, 4, 5 years before that. And so all my buddies that grow up in pretty much the same neighborhood. There's a few outliers, like we spoke about in a previous episode. Elliott girls swim team, Nugent boys swim team outside of the neighborhood. We got some participants in the league like that. We accept them. I got the title last year, dog, and hoping to bring it back home this year. try not to talk too much fantasy football when but I start doing the Eagles Nest on Sunday with my boy Jay. We'll probably be sprinkling in some fantasy notes, some heartbreaking losses, some absolutely thrill-seeking wins, and yeah. Another little piece of news that caught my eye this week was all these rumors about Tom Brady being out and for how long, and is it the old age? What's he doing? And there's some little missy mice crawling around making some noise in the news cycle, right? Little missy. And there's some news out there that Tom Brady might have gone on The Masked Singer. Okay, by no means am I like a Tom Brady fan, but I appreciate him. I respect him. If he went on that show, I'm absolutely fucking out. And talking about like really not liking one quarterback and liking one another. Like I used to, Aaron Rodgers used to be one of my favorite players ever, and just started really turning sour on him, and pretty much just got done listening to him on Joe Rogan, and I think I'm back. It was just a entertaining episode, just kind of talking about what he went through during the last year, and just some fun stories. He's a big plant medicine advocate, which kind of smoothly brings me into my next point. Your boy tripped shrooms again. Okay, yeah. I went like 10 to 12 years without doing them, and now I think it's probably the third time in the last, let's call it 2 months. Right now, I'm picking a fucking scab behind my ear that someone's fingernail cut me behind my head last week, and the scab is literally being activated as we speak. But yeah, so I wasn't planning on doing them this weekend, and I'm out to eat with my brother and my parents at Daruma on Friday night. I'm just sitting there, and I get a text message about, "Hey, I'm planning on doing them tomorrow. If you want to join." I was like, "Oh boy!" And right away, I text back honestly, like, "Well, I've never done them outside my own habitat." He's like, "What?" Every time I've ever done shrooms, they've always been in my own house, where I'm kind of the shaman, the Sherpa, the Lord of Light, whatever you want to call it. I'm kind of guiding the trip wherever we're gonna go. I'm kind of in charge of the journey, if you will. And this one was one of the best ones I've ever had. Honestly, you step outside your comfort zone. You go to someone's house you've never been to, and you just fucking you go. So right away, when I get to the house, I'm like, man, this is so. The person's house I was going to, he's definitely got his own awesome traits and characteristics, and the minimalist lifestyle is something he could achieve. He could easily survive on that show alone that I've talked about. So me and him couldn't be more opposite. Like if I have to go to a new age bathroom and it doesn't have a water squirting device to shoot up my tailpipe, I'm in trouble. He could probably go and just dump in the woods and maybe take a little stick and just scrape, or how like you see those videos on like Planet Earth and shit now of the chimpanzees, like they use the little sticks to poke them inside the trees and then get the ants out and eat the ants. Like that's probably what he could do to clean his recti. Just take the little stick and scrape and just throw it and discard it, and full circle of life goes back into the earth, and the plants are being rejuvenated as we speak. But yeah, no, I walk in, he's got this fucking amazing setup of all the different animals he's taken out. Huge inspiration for me to get into hunting, especially when you see the mounted heads on the walls. Like for the first like hour of my trip, I was just staring at a white-tailed deer just ahead of him while I was laying on the couch, rubbing the pelt of another deer, just taking it all in, being one with nature. And I don't know, I definitely like push some things that I enjoy on other people, or maybe not push them on it, but talk about them a lot. And jujitsu and mushrooms are two things I don't think I'll ever stop preaching about. Um, I did I think it was like 2.6, 2.7 grams. My buddy did, I think 2.2, 2.3, and he's never taken anything more than a gram. So this was his only second trip and doing that amount, just going into it. Pretty dope. And he had an awesome trip. He was doing a lot of the eyes closed and laying back and just enjoying the feels. And keep in mind, it's just funny because this is someone who's like barely ever smoked pot and like doesn't really do anything, but he's heard about the benefits on different podcasts and hearing, ex-military members and whatever talk about all these positive things and such. And I mean, for me, yeah, it's like I wish you can't do them all the time, obviously, but the way it makes you feel and the thoughts that go through your head and the way you're connecting with yourself and with other people, it's amazing. And people always say like you're trying to find your purpose, and I'm not trying to get too corny or deep or anything, but I just kept thinking about how to get my podcast better and what to talk about and how to have fun and fun stories. And so I feel like I think I have was born with like a little gift to sell. Maybe like that might be the job force I'm in, but the podcasting and talking to people and asking questions. Like I was trying to interview my friend while we were tripping, and he's kind of not on the same wavelength as me as far as A, talking as much as I do, and B, being a little more seasoned with the fungus. I'm able to control it because I've done them a good amount of times at this point. And I was asking a bunch of questions, and for those of you who do jujitsu out there, this gentleman practices as well and is definitely much better than me. And the whole time I was thinking in my head, and I started saying to him at points, and he was like closing his eyes, tripping. I was like, I bet I could pass your fucking guard right now. He's like, what? I was like, nothing, nothing. Um, you just have so many crazy thoughts. Yeah, I just kept thinking about this and how happy it makes me. And life isn't all about money, and success is defined in so many different ways. But I feel like if you find something to do and makes you happy and you enjoy it, I mean that's pretty successful right there. And feel like I finally started to find my happy place where I can kind of come on here and just tell some stories and talk and have some fun and then get people on to talk to and start developing this. I know I keep talking about it, but developing this into getting a table right behind me and do a sit down, just start having people here and talking shit, not limiting conversations to 40 minutes and just have normal conversations like we would any day. Because I mean, yeah, definitely a little bit of my ego side talking about shrooms, how like you kind of dissolve your ego and but definitely the ego part of me always thinks I can be a little bit humorous in conversations and the thoughts I have. So I was like, yeah, I would love to put it out there and have people hear it and see what they think. And so just having normal conversations, I still believe could be entertaining and fun. And if not, something I'm enjoying, something you could have fun with, and just kind of go from there. But my friend was so much more to get to with that. But my friend was really, really pleased with the experience. Something I've never done before, and talking about it, it makes me a little like queased up and weirded out. But I've always eaten them in a variety of ways with peanut butter and jelly, or pizza, or peanut butter crackers, or straight peanut butter, or bananas and Nutella, bananas and peanut. I've done them multiple different ways, but I literally like feel nauseous even talking about it because it's so gross. But the best way I've ever honestly consumed them was yesterday. I put them in like a little Cuisinart grinder, ground them up into little just dust essentially, with a couple big chunks and couple mounds. But pretty much I just oh my, it's making me so weirded out. But you pretty much put it into just a little rocks glass. I put a little bit of lemon juice in there, and then I put some cran apple. And I just 2 sips, about 3 grams and 2 sips, and wow, honestly, painless. Did not taste bad. You couldn't really taste it. And next time if I do it, I feel like I'll like drinking. It's kind of a nice way to go. It's pretty pain free, taste minimal. I mean, you think like you just see the dust. And my problem was I was pouring the juice, but then all the powder was staying floating above like a dirt mound. Like those old salt hills you'll see just mounding above. So I was like, "Ugh." God, I was like getting the powder and then the juice, but whatever. It was all good. It was just a great time. So much fun. So much more to cover. Like I said, um, one thing I thought was pretty funny is my friend and I are both. I don't ever really talk politics on here, but it's not really a secret. I'm definitely on the right. I'm a Republican, and doesn't matter. I have so many friends that are on the left, and who gives a fuck? Doesn't ever, not ever going to get in the way of my friendships. I still have an open mind, and I definitely have some whatever. We're not going to get into that, but it's funny because right away I brought my fire stick over to his house because, like I said, Mr. DJ Som Ponde replay. Frankie DJ want to turn the music up on it. Mr. DJ Som Ponde replay. Please, YouTube go and yank this music up. So he had a setup where he already had Netflix, but I didn't know what I'm getting into, and I was like, I was gonna bring like fucking my Super Nintendo or my GameCube or something. play some video games, but I was like, I'll just bring the Fire Stick. So I brought the Fire Stick and I just put on like our great national parks, where it's just showing all the different national parks, and it's just hilarious because we're both like, the first and second episode, most of the first, I'm like weaning into the trip, not really tripping. By the time the second, third, and fourth episodes are all coming on, like I'm a full blown tripping, and Barack Obama is the one narrating it, and right away my friend's like, "Oh my god!" And I was just laughing. I was like, "Yep," but like I mentioned him. I was like, "Dude, you can't even deny like his voice is incredible. He's such a good speaker. Like I don't mind. Like it was great." But towards one of the episodes at the end, like they were talking all about like the marine life, and because I'm a huge, my brother got me into it, being a huge like trying to cut back on plastic use and using stainless steel or reusable bags or whatever the case you can, just to cut back on your own carbon footprint will have what have you, and kind of pause that. As we said, I'll chug out of the fucking humongous vessel. It's very important too when you are using words with an H. You don't pronounce the H. Like my dad always says huge. So we've always did like YUGE and humongous and U Douglas and shit like that. But um oh yeah, so we're watching it's the Monterey Bay Sanctuary in California, about how like I can't remember. I was fucking tripping my face off, but at one point Barack Obama was like talking all about protecting the oceans and all the things that humans are doing wrong and all the things they can do right. And I was like literally sitting there getting emotional because like, when you're on shrooms, like you just have this crazy, weird, like spiritual connection, the connection to earth, the connection to plants, food, animals, humans. Like it's just such a everybody please try it once. All right, whatever. But not even in a heavy dose, just literally like zero point 0.5 to a gram. You're not even really gonna trip. You're just gonna get these crazy feelings and okay, whatever. Anyways, he was talking all about protecting the ocean. I'm pretty sure, like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I like had tears coming down my because I remember at one point I had so much like moisture around my eyes. I think I was crying when he was talking all about protecting endangered species and everything. And my friend's like on the couch next to me, like not even paying attention, just eyes closed, just tripping. And I just screamed, I was like, I'm a fucking Democrat now. And he's like, what? And I was like, I love for you, Barack. And I was just like talking to Barack Obama how much I love him and I love his speech. And like when we were recapping our trip at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, well, the two big things for me are how much potential penguins have and how big of a Democrat I am. So, I was talking about the connection with the plants and everything like that. I was definitely there was a lot of intrepidation and nervousness, anxiety about tripping in a foreign element, and you're not sure where you're at, and you're so used to everything at home. So when you're not mentally there, you're still like, the muscle memory and everything of your own place. You can kind of navigate. I didn't really have that luxury, but I remember the first time I went outside, I was like, I needed to go pee really bad, and I was like, I just want to go pee in nature. So I went outside, and he lives like way out in the country, and start just seeing all these little geckos and dragonflies, and I'm just ants, and I'm starting to freak out. And I was like, holy fuck. And I just started for whatever reason walking over, and he's got all these goats, and I'm like, he's got one big alpha male goat, and then like I think four or five females, and dude, I just walked over, and they're all like laying down, and all of them just turn their heads and look at me at once, and I'm like making eye contact back, and I'm pretty sure I was talking to them, just like asking them questions, thinking I'm literally interviewing my next podcast guest, a crop of goats, a herd of goats. Just where are you guys from? How long have you been with Jay? Your owner, and like, just what do you eat on a daily basis? Do you get full? Like, if you could eat 2 bowls, 3 bowls, like, give me an idea of what you could handle. Like, if there wasn't a limit on food, how much would you eat? Would you work it off? Would you run around the field, or would you just lay and sleep afterwards? Your situation where you're sleeping and all that goat shit every day, like you just lay on top of it. Did you guys ever think about collectively like trying to do, my brain is you lay in your laying area, but then you got all the fields to go out, and why not like go out there and take a shit and then come back in and lay on like a clean surface instead of shitting where you sleep? Just some food, just some kibble for thought, right? So yeah, I go out there and they're all making eye contact with me, and I get freaked out. So I walk away from them. I go look at his horses for a minute, and I just start getting freaked out by that. And it was just between like watching the nature stuff and then going outside and just experiencing it firsthand. Something I never got to do when I've been on the magical fungi, and it was cool. Goats, horses, you're beautiful. Geckos, bugs, that kind of shit. I don't play with that. Um, yeah, but just more about it, like all the thoughts that come into your head and all these amazing things that are going through your mind. You're trying to like yesterday, it's cool because when you're like the last two times I've done it alone, but then when you're doing it with someone else, like you feel like you can talk to them and kind of try to convey your thoughts because they can connect because they're feeling that too, right? But everyone's trips are different. I feel like no matter how much you take, my trip's going to be different than yours. It's all in the head, what you want out of it, if you're being positive. And I just thought it was kind of cool because I usually like to like plan it out and have an idea of what I'm getting into, especially at home. But yesterday it was literally like, I don't know, 16-hour notice or 12 to 14-hour notice. I did it, drove, 35 minutes out to the countryside, milked some cow. No, went out to the country, brought my vessel of water, my fire stick, and that was pretty much it. I also did bring a Cliff Bar, and pretty much almost sent me into a bad trip. At one point, I was eating the Cliff Bar, and it was just so dry, and I was freaking out because I thought I was going to run out of water because of how much water I had to drink and the amount of potential the penguins have. Like I was watching them, they came up on an episode, and I was like, "Did these things fucking fly?" And like I could not figure out if they fly or not. And then I was like, "Oh wait, no, they don't fly." But could you imagine if they did fly? Like what they'd be able to conquer? And they've already been movie stars and highlighted in several little flicks. Madagascar led to their own little spin-off, Happy Feet, and it's just a beautiful thing, a beautiful breed, beautiful species, and just think what could have been accomplished if we could fly with them. Yeah, it was amazing. I don't want to harp too much on it again, but like I said, kind of recommended everybody. Blah blah blah. Didn't have to work on Friday. Like I said, it's usually a really easy day, but my boss was saying how his wife hasn't been down to Fort Myers Beach in a while, and he kind of forgot about it because on Thursday after work, he was like, "All right, I'll see you tomorrow." I was like, "Wait, what about you and your wife? Going? Oh yeah, that's right. All right, never mind. You don't have to go." So I was able to go to morning class jujitsu. AC was broken and not the biggest deal. I used to train in a gym that didn't really have AC, but the mat space there was so big and like when we stepped on the mats, they were so slick, and I ended up like fucking getting a thing right on this elbow and then right on the inside of my knee where I was compromised for a few days. But shrooms brought me back to full health. Um, Strained my right calf. So just the slipperiness. I was slipping and sliding everywhere. I'm always the sweatiest guy anyway, but that definitely added icing to Freddy's bloody cake. Um, yeah, there's a quick little NBA thing since we were just talking Tom Brady a little bit ago. Chet Holmgren, I think number 2 overall pick in the draft, Oklahoma City Thunder. Doing a similar thing with the Sixers were doing, where they're just tanking multiple years in a row, trying to stockpile assets, high draft picks, good players. And Sixers kind of did well, kind of blew it. I mean, when you look back at the fact that we had Ben Simmons, Jahlil Okafor, um, we traded Miles Bridges a couple years ago. There's just so many bad ones. Markel Fultz, not as successful as he could have been. Now, granted, we did get Joel Embiid, but you could argue he's kind of worth not having a couple to sacrifice getting him. But could have had a bunch of good guys. Could have had Tatum. Anyways, Chet Holmgren playing in a pro-am game the other day. Liz Frank injury, saying he's out for the year. A lot of people are questioning because it might be a shorter recovery time than that. And then now they're just thinking maybe Oklahoma City just going to milk that, sit him out all year, and have another Tankapalooza type of year. They got some good young players that, they're like the Sixers, all they were used to was losing. And it's all they know is a losing culture because just losing 50, 60 games a year. And I don't know, just strange. A little more news in the world. Fred, Floribama Shore, a once classic show, has been scrubbed from the network. Honestly, fine by me. Kind of had a good start. Had some castmates mingling, canoodling, if you will, and really getting to know each other spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, metaphysically. But after one of the girls ended up getting married and their relationship kind of went to the wayside, then entertainment died. The girl was on the show last season, like I think she was pregnant, and nah, like that would be like Snooki on the Jersey Shore being pregnant, where you were just a sloppy little drunk that we enjoyed laughing at. Now you're trying to be cool little mom, like cool. Motherhood's great, but don't be on the TV show for it. You're not entertaining us. Um, Other than that, I mean, last week I know I was talking a little bit about somatic tales, Attica State. Uh, oh, real quick too. It's just funny too because I even talked to my buddy about this yesterday about how I was like talking so much at certain points, and he was just saying how like you need to slow down. I can't process it all because how I was saying you have so many thoughts that come in, you're trying to spit it all out. So I already talk fast as it is, but then you compound that with being on shrooms and trying to combine the thoughts with the words and match the words per minute. So after he said that, I kind of just wanted, I felt not like bad, but I was like, I just want him to be able to enjoy his trip and not have to worry about trying to translate me on the spot. So I tried to talk a little bit less and made a concerted effort of that. And I had this hilarious memory of back in high school, I was doing shrooms with some kid I didn't know too well. He was just a new drug dealer. I thought he was cool. So I had him over at my house, and him and I were eating the fungus. And my poor brother was home, causing no harm to anybody, not doing anything, not bothering anyone. And he was just kind of messing with both of us. And the kid who was new to my house, not really my friend, but he was just, we were tripping together. He kind of got really pissed off at my brother, and he was a behemoth of a man. He was very physically strong and bigger than us. And he got really pissed off at my brother and was like trying to fight him while him and I were both tripping on fucking shrooms. And I was like, dude, he's fucking joking. So my brother, instead of hanging out with us, just like went and isolate himself and hiding in his room watching always or that 70 show. And I had to just calm this meathead down and try not to talk him off, like killing my brother and just craziness. If you could imagine that, I wish you guys could have all like it could have been happening in the Coliseum, and then everyone could have been in the stadium watching what was going on because just fucking madness. Not really want to know what I'm going to be dealing with, but family over everything, right? And I was there to protect my flesh and blood, and the blood I protected and the flesh I kept. Um, so I just kind of wanted to go back to some somatic tales and somatic chronicles, and then we'll maybe cut this one short. I'm definitely dealing with a little bit of that mushroom hangover, dog. A little bit of that. You get that little bit of headache after, and then the day after. Just at least me. Maybe it's because I don't eat on those days, and or you're just not. I don't know what it is, but um. So the attic, I was talking about how like that was some of the fertile stomping grounds for smoking pot in my early days, and it just became this thing where I would like try to smoke in my bathroom, and my mom would always catch me at like 2 in the morning, or always get me. So I started in my closet, my room. I had a fucking. You walk in, and there was a string that would come down from the ceiling. You pull the string down, and it would collapse the stairs, and then you climb up there, and it was super hot up there, but it was a magical place. So many different stories from there. I'm gonna try to get into a couple and try to limit it, but one of the first ones I can think of, it's not long, not super funny, but my friend had like a broken ankle or something. So, we convinced him to go up in the attic and smoke. And then like it's funny, the best part of it was you would always go up there and get high and then like worry about how you're gonna get down if you were an outsider. Because me and my brother or myself, I was saying my brother because every time he went up to the attic, like he knew how to. Just my dad was the same thing. My sister, we could all get up and down there like pros. Like me and my friends, when we would smoke, it would like just be me and three or four of my buddies, and they wouldn't know how to get down from the attic. So like my one buddy who had a broken ankle, he like got up there, got stoned, we were having fun, listening to music, talking, everything, and then comes the point where you got to get down there. He's like, "What the fuck?" So like I go down first, and then we have him go down right after me. So we have like a spotter holding his armpits from above, kind of walking him down slow, and then I'm below, like talking him through his head, like take this step, but when you're gonna go this way, you're gonna lean this way and shift your body weight to the left, to the right, left, right, to the left, Everything I own in a box to the left. But the addict tales, more of them were like one time. This is probably the best one, honestly, in my opinion. One more sippy dadu. Um, there's a little weasel out there, and I don't care if I'm gonna implicate him. Sam, 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 Sam. He was up there smoking with me, and my dad must have been like, pretty much picture the act. Right when you walk up, it's just like you can go left or right, and it's just like a big plywood on the ground, like a walkway area, and we had just all the boxes of Halloween decorations and Christmas stuff, and all jackets and clothes, and just pretty much a storage spot. But then at each end, you had an opening with like a vent that would go out, and obviously that's where we would blow all the smoke out of if we weren't being crazy and just free blowing it in the air, which we would do. But this time, me and my friend went up. We were just playing like Nazi zombies, so we were going up, doing some smoky smoke right before to get nice and high. And Freddie had the chasers on deck. I would always get the little like Gatorade packets or Kool-Aid packets or whatever. Put them in water bottles with the water. Put them in the freezer for like 45 minutes and just get that little crystal meth type pattern where you have the little crystals and you shake it up and you're drinking the flavored crystals, and it was absolute bliss. I was back in the day when I had 10 cavities at one time because all I was doing was drinking Gatorades and fucking crazy shit. Crazy mouth, meth mouth, crazy mouth. But yeah, my friend goes up there and just fucking hilarious. He was a very good student, a very good boy, and hung out with a corrupt mind like me. And pretty much we go out there, we smoke, we blow the smoke out. My dad's right outside painting the house, and he fucking smelled us blowing the smoke out. So he came up right away to confront us in my room. And like right when he was coming up to confront us, we were just settling in, getting ready to play. And he's like literally getting in my face, screaming at me like fucking, what do you see? Like the TV shows like Maury or Jerry Springer, like people are just in Jerry's faces pointing, yes, a bitch, you fucking mom. Real Housewives of New Jersey, just picture that. Real Potheads of New Jersey, just being idiots, and comes up and just screaming in my face, yelling and screaming at me, and then he turns to my dumb little friend Sam, and he's just yelling in his face, screaming, and I'm pretty much telling him, I'm like, right after my dad yells, I'm like, so he's gonna tell your mom, right? Now I knew he wasn't gonna tell his mom. My dad was not gonna bother with that. He just wanted to. Oh fuck! I'm trying not to pick the scab in the middle. Oh my god! And I just ripped it. Oh fuck! Yeah, are we gushing? Yeah, we're gushing. All right, we're gonna have to take care of that. But anyways, I knew he was. If it was my mom, maybe she would have bothered with all that. But my dad was not gonna do it. So I told him that, and he starts freaking out. Well, what can we do to stop it? And I'm like, let me think, dude. So we play a couple rounds of zombies, and I'm like thinking of ideas. I'm like, I got it. So I text my one buddy, and I'm like telling him, I was like, hey man, just like act like my mom, like just go along and pretty much like what I'm gonna propose, you're gonna agree with, but just word it like you're my mom and don't be shocked. Like, what the fuck? Why are you saying this? I'm not your mom. Because if I didn't warn you, that's obviously would have been the response. So I text him, I was like, hey mom, I'm so sorry. We really didn't mean to do that. It was really disrespectful, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Um, is there any way you cannot tell Sam's mom? Like, no, I just gave this whole shtick on why not to tell Sam's mom, and then my friend had responded back because I went into my phone and changed his contact name to mom. So when he responded back saying like, "You really did make a mistake, and Dad's really pissed, but I will make sure that she doesn't find out," and blah blah blah. So I told my friend, I was like, "Listen, if I can get my mom to not tell your mom, like, what can you do for me?" And this was at a time where I don't think I was working like a junior in high school, and maybe I was, maybe I wasn't, but I was still sliming it up, skeeving it up. He's like, I don't know, dude, I'll give you like 30 or 40 bucks. Something. I was like, yeah, if you give me 40 bucks, I'll make sure my mom doesn't tell your mom. I'll get her to convince my dad. So I show him the phone and about it. He's like, oh my God, dude, thank you so much. And ends up giving me the cheddar cheese and goes on his way. And hush, hush, the word never left the house. The other story I had to correct was last week was about how like me and my friends would find sanctuary up in the attic to smoke while my brother would be playing Xbox to be our lookout, our little sober, sweet little lookout. And that one time I was talking about, it was me and my two buddies up there, and my brother was playing Xbox, and these were the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 nuke days, and my dad was like banging on the door, and my brother was like yelling because we heard the bang of the door, and then we heard my brother yelling. I was like, "What the fuck?" And he was telling me last week, he's like, "No, dude, the whole thing was like I was about to get a nuke, and I was yelling because he had like 22 or 23 kills in a row, and I was yelling to dad that I couldn't get the door right now, and he just wouldn't give up, and my brother wouldn't give in, and he wouldn't get up." So it ended up like my dad ended up just walking away and leaving the scene, and me and my friends walked out of there on skates. So not all heroes always wear capes, little Bucky boy, and thank you for never going down my dirty path of being an animal and scum and saving me. Um, yeah, I mean that's before I forget. There absolutely is one tiny bit of content that we absolutely need to share. There we go. So there is this absolutely amazing gentleman who I, believe it or not, I actually did find his Instagram. I have messaged him to come on the podcast, and no, he won't. He will not, but that's okay. I gotta find this video real quick to make sure my volume's all the way up. And for those of you watching on YouTube or Spotify, enjoy. If you're not watching, I would recommend pulling this part up. Um, so we got a gentleman here, one of my pet peeves, like I always talk about, are the POV videos, but my guy's getting an exception here. And the one thing I hate about these Instagram share video things is you get you see you see my comments. Someone tag him in all capitals, and I saw later, hey, just some credit would be nice. So that's how I found them. But it's a POV video. For those listening, it says POV, we are on a date and the radio is broken. I'm gonna do a refresher so I can start from the beginning. So, you're on just imagine right now, you're on a date with this guy and the radio's broke. I guess the radio's still broken. Smack That by Akon, featuring Eminem. Every time he says a little line, he just makes this little mischievous laugh, smiles with his little beanie on, seatbelt strapped like an absolute gentleman. Thank you, sir. I wonder if you guys wonder if this is one of the newer model seatbelt cars where it's beeping the whole time, or if he's not wearing a seatbelt, or if he's just wearing it by choice. Back to the video. So real quick. All shucks. I guess the radio is still broken. Oh, baby, smack that. My turn. Oh, shucks. I guess the radio's still broken. Oh, baby, smack that on the floor. Smack that. Give me some more. But only if you want to, though. Let's see how I did. I definitely got some work to do, and I look to brushing up on this in the future, but I'm sorry, guys, one more time. Only if you want to. It's an absolute choice. He's living in 2022 where everything is consensually based, right? He knows the rules, he knows the limits, and God, do I respect him. And can I scroll through the comments on here? I don't think I can. Someone said, lost my appetite. How rude. One more time, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I just started this little thing on Instagram, and it's just called podcast videos. And I think each week we're gonna go over some. And all right, you want to do a really cringy one real quick? Fuck. I feel like this one's gonna get me a flag. Well, no, because they put it up. Let's just try it. It's literally one of the cringiest videos. Just a family just singing that little running up a hill song, all dressed up as Stranger Things disguises. And speaking of Stranger, Stranger Things, let's maybe end it on this one. This guy's. Oh damn it! No, it's this gentleman who dresses. I kind of have to find it now. It's this gentleman who like stands on a picnic bench and dresses in like this crazy goth regalia, and oh yeah. So there he is. He's on a bench that you would see, you could fit six people on those, but due to those little impeding boards on each side, let's call them four. So four-person benches. He's got a really nice background, and I don't know if he's like the three-eyed raven or Birdman or a Stranger Things character, one of the bats, but he's doing a really good impression here. Now, could he flap? Like, if he jumped off and took 1 to 2 flaps, would he have success? That wingspan is truly astronomical and not one you'll see in the animal kingdom. Literally dog the bounty hunter type of gear. I mean, this guy could pound. We need to. I got some ideas. The people that just have these talents, man. It's one thing to go on Instagram and show your feathers and flock away, but then you got guys like him that truly have a talent and they're really out there putting it on the line. And I can't say enough good things. So yeah, this week too, I just want to get into it. The guy who's been helping me editing, he got caught up, didn't really see my messages, and didn't get a chance to add the little intro. And I'm kind of committed to having some kind of little intro each week now. So I held off on releasing my guest episode from this past week. I guess I'll release that one this week and just try to keep it going 1-on-1 each week, Mondays and Fridays, solo episodes. So hope everybody has a great week. Thank y'all for listening. Go Birds, go Phillies. Until next time, my friends. Thank you. Burp City, bitch. Burp City, bitch.